Okay, this is my topic today, and the future of the implant dentistry. What we have now, what will be changed in the near future. So, there are something for the implant treatments. A long time ago, not long, actually 30, 40 years ago, we just focused on the implant itself. Many doctors have doubt on the phenomenon of osseointegrations, how titanium can be integrated with the bone without any problems for long term. It was the key issue at the time, about 40 years ago. But we recognized that digital technology can be used to improve the quality of implant treatments, and the regeneration is inevitable to make a good result. And also materials was very much improved to make the treatment perfect and to make the treatment easier. And there was many instruments and equipment in the world, and it made us very convenient to place implants. And all of this, above all of this, the biological concept should be considered as the first priority for the implants. We have to understand what biology wants to do, wants to have with the implant treatments. Okay, let's see the past. Ongo Jishin is a similar pronunciation between Korean and Japanese. It means discovering new things by studying the past. So I like this word very much. Always we need to review the past to move forward. So it's, in 1947, Formigini developed these implants. As you see, it has a spiral wire implants. Could be placed with the solid fixations. So we call him father of modern dental implantology. And Dr. Sherry Sheff placed very skinny implants, but very convenient to use in from 1940s to 1980s. And again, in 1960s, 50s and 60s, these implants, the superior cell implant was very much popular in the world, but as you know, the long-term success was not so good. It was disappeared. And endodontic implants, true. So we have to review these implants with the root membrane technique, actually, 360-degree root membrane, frankly speaking. And yes, this could stabilize the mobile teeth and can lengthen the destiny of the failing teeth, but was not so good for the long-term prognosis. And Dr. Dahl developed the mucosal implants to stabilize the full denture. And the 70s, Ramus implant appeared, and it was easy to place, but as you know, the long-term prognosis was not so good. So we are considering the longevity of the implants more than 10 years nowadays, not only 5 years. So it should be stable enough for the minimum next 10 years. Right? And the braid implant was very passionate in 1960s and the 70s in America. And as many of you remember, Dr. Linko was the leader of these implant systems. Was good. And in 1980-60, we had transmandibular implants by Dr. Bosco. So it was good. The success rate was more than 97%. It was really great, but it was very difficult to do surgery, extraoral approach, and only possible on the mandible, not possible on the maxillary arch. And in 1970, Dr. Kirsch developed IMG implant, which was developed with some biological concept of a parental ligament. But as you know, IME, the intramobile element, was not easy to control. Technically not stable, that disappeared. Finally, we have Dr. Brennemark on the stage. So as all of you already understand, the osseointegration, the intraosseous luteform implant was developed by accident during his study on the microvascular muscular circulations. But he focused how we can use this phenomenon of binding bone with metal in dental field. As you know, Dr. Brennemark is not a dentist. He was orthopedic. But anyway, with this development, we could be able to enjoy, we are able to enjoy the modern implant dentistry. So in 1960s, the first implants into the patients were performed on Mr. Larson, who had the deformity, congenital deformity. And the second patients were Mr. Span, and both patients could enjoy the implants for more than 30 years. It's long, was very, very good. And then, finally, in 1982, at the Toronto conference in Canada, which was organized by Dr. Professor Jarve, and Dr. Brennemark reported the 15 years of titanium dental implants. And these implant treatments got the international recognition in 1982. And NIH conference in 1988, officially, the osseointegrated implant treatments was officially approved as normal, as a regular dental treatment method. It was 1988. So from now, only 40 years ago, the implant treatment was recognized as normal treatment method. I believe we have to thank you to this great scientist, not only Dr. Brennemark, Dr. Jarve put this implant on the stage and made it recognized, and Dr. Thomas Albrechtsen, he made the principles, the golden rules for the implant success. And Ulf Lekholm, he was a doctor in the Brennemark Clinic, and he put 100,000 implants long time ago. So he was the biggest implant placer in the world. And he made many articles, as you know. And Dr. Linde made a concept on the soft tissues around the implants. He, as you know, he is a periodontist, and he put many concepts, great concepts, to the implant treatments, great concept of periodontal tissues on the implant treatments. And Stig Hansen, he developed the conical connections of 11 degrees conical connections. So now we use the internal connections much more than the external hex, the implants, but he made the fundamental of internal connections. These great guys made this symposium, actually. I try, thank you. Yeah, let's give a big hands to them. It's really, thank you. Of course, we have many other scientists and speakers, educators in the world who are devoted on the implant treatments. And this is some issues of as important factors on the implant developments. So 6 factors for osseointegration developed by Dr. Albrechtsen and the co-works in 1981. So still we use the same criteria for the successful implants. And the soft tissue interface dimension was described by Dr. Erickson and Abramson. Also, Dr. Linde made many definitions on this. And now, because of these kind of studies, we are able to make a very beautiful gingiva peri-implant tissues. And in 2006, I like Dr. Lajar very much. He's also a periodontist, as a founder of 3i implants long time ago. Now he retired, but he showed the concept of platform switching, which is very normal, very popular for the implant treatments. So these is some examples of development in implant dentistry, I think. Now we have 100, more than 1,000 different implant systems in the world. Some of But among 100 different implant systems, 4 implant companies has more than 60% of market shares, almost 70%. So I'd like to challenge on this. Which implant system is the best to you? This one, that one, or cheap one, new one? So I understand everybody has their own preference. But what is our goal? Our patients has no interest on the implant itself. They want to have a very strong, very aesthetic, very functional crowns on the implants. Why we place implants is to make a really beautiful and functioning crowns. So how? Nobody wants to wait long. So we are aiming to make a one-day implants. With implant placement, we can place crowns at the same day or at the same time. So with this, not only the fastness of implant treatments should be great on the aesthetics, should be great on the soft tissues, should be great on the alveolar bone rebel of the implants. These 3 should be combined for the successful one-day implants. What is one-day implants? What do we have to consider? A digital smile. That's why we named the theme of our symposium as a digital smile. On this subject, not only digital technology, everything should be based on the biology first. The implant system should be developed, should have a biological concept, complete biological concept. And we should know about the soft tissue and the hard tissue regenerations, and we should know how to place these materials into the patient's body. And then, on top of this, we should know about the digital technology and digital concept on the treatments. Not only treatments, so diagnosis and the planning, and how to make the final restorations with the CAD/CAMs. Thank you to Ilva Navas, Netherlands. They made these really wonderful videos. We made biological design implant systems, as you know. Many of you already understand the core concept of NREG. With this special design, we could make a very good initial stability at loose bone. Not only initial stability, it could make a very stable, very high ISQ from the beginning, and it doesn't go down. It doesn't show drop down on the ISQ. So this is really basic, important points for the one-day implants. We should be able to make a really good initial stability at any kind of bone quality, and that initial stability should be maintained from the beginning to the end, forever. And yes, everybody doubted on my presentation and our data from our Korean colleagues. So some years ago, I went to UCLA, Professor Crackbold, and I asked to make the one clinical studies. So I had this kind of something strange result with my implants, but nobody wants to believe me. So let's make one clinical studies in UCLA, in university, and in the patients. So the theme was the effect of implant thread design on the implant stability in the early post-operative period. So we aimed to compare these 2 different thread design only and place the 2 different implant systems in side by side on the same patients, and the result was like this. They measured ISQ numbers from 0 to 8 week. So as you see from the graph, the conventional thread showed a decrease on ISQ until 4th week, and then made a plateau. But on the other hand, the knife-threaded implants showed increase only. Even no single implant showed a decrease on ISQ. It was really proved from UCLA and United States, and yes, from the patients. And we made one more studies with this. We can do immediate loading in many cases, but not everybody wants to do immediate loading because it's a little bit complicated to prepare. So we aimed to short the loading period. So I discussed with Dr. Makari in the St. Joseph University of Beirut. He was a great surgeon, as you know. And we aimed to finish all the prosthetic procedure in 4 weeks. 4 weeks. At the placement, we can finish prosthetics in 4 weeks. And we made protocols, and every implant, he measured insertion torque value with the electronic torque wrench connected to the PC. And this is average. In average, as you see, mean insertion torque value was more than 80 Newton centimeter, 80, average. Type 1 bone, here, a hard bone, the average became more than 100 Newton centimeter. If you are user of Straumann implants or Nobel implants, you will be shocked. Oh my God, you will be in trouble soon. We will have a bone loss, compressive necrosis soon. And you will be surprised more with this dot graph. So here, this implant was placed with more than 180 Newton centimeter torque force. 180 means almost breaking the hex connections, but never happened. And also he checked the ISQ like this, and this was not published yet, but it will be soon. The result was all implants were functionally loaded at 4th week and presented 100% survival rate at 3 months. Can you believe this? Not only good condition of bone, he placed implants everywhere, and some implants were single, some implants were splinted together. So regardless any location and number of implants, we can start loading in 4 weeks. So I'm talking with him again to shorten more. 3 weeks, how about 3 weeks? How about 2 weeks? So we will have more and more documents like this. And XP, we made the XP treatments as our surface treatment techniques. So what we need to prepare for the one-day implants, as you know, initial stability, good. No drop down of ISQ. But to make these two perfect, surface treatment should be excellent. So as you know, the SLA treatment became the standard of surface treatments from almost every companies. We know the process, but if you follow these protocols, we may have some dangerous acid residue on the surface, which cannot be checked. It's very dangerous. So we had this technology a long time ago, so we hesitated how we can avoid this dangerous acid residue from the surface. So we studied for more than 6 years, and finally we found these two more processes, alkalization and the calcium ion incorporation, can make perfect, clean. At the beginning, it was designed to eliminate the acid residue from the surface, but now we recognize that this can help faster osseointegrations.
So standing in front of the German Reichstag, where our government is hosted, I would like to talk about regulation. We have in Europe a good system that proves the quality of medical devices. Notified body, they do the job in looking for the process quality of a manufacturing side of an implant. So the problem we have, although we have all these authorities, in the US it's the FDA, and in Europe it's the CE authorities in Brussels, and notified bodies doing the job, we have unfortunately a lot of implants that pass all these processes and they get a certificate, and under the microscope we found so many contaminants on some implants that obviously we have no control. The Clean Implant Foundation will have a global quality field, and we will work for better quality that every implantologist all over the world will know, not believe, that his implant is clean.
Okay. Today, we have Dr. Dude from Germany on the stage. Please welcome Dr. Dude. Thank you.
So I try some word, kamsahamnida and arigato gozaimasu. I try to improve my Japanese language a little bit more. Thank you for giving me 10 minutes about a very important subject. It's about the cleanliness of dental implants. When I started my research, actually 10 years ago in 2007, with my doctoral thesis, I had no idea that I was open at that time the box of Pandora, because I didn't expect that any implant looks like we found under the microscope. And in these 10 years, we made more research, and we found even more implants with severe and avoidable contaminants. That's the point. So why should an implant at least be clean? I got a friend of mine who said, oh, come on, Dirk, nobody is dying of a polluted implant. But we know we do all our job for this little guy. Already you see here, sitting on the implant around some bone formation. So this is an osteoblast, right settling on the implant surface. We know that all contaminants we have on dental implants, and we don't only talk about organic contaminants, but as well on inorganic contaminants like copper, chromium, nickel, stainless steel particles, all from the machining, packaging, and the process and the fabrication. All these particles may lose contact even if we have friction forces about 20 to 30 Newton centimeters. So where will all these particles finally stay? Where will they be? They will at least stay at the cortical bone. That is the problem. And we know that even organic pollution probably is one of the first reasons why we have sometimes initial peri-implantitis. I have to be very careful with what I say, because many companies have the problems with these particles on a dental implant. These particles concentrate on the cortical bone, and they lead possibly to a foreign body reaction. And the problem of any foreign body reaction in the bone is an enhanced osteoclastogenesis. That means in the moment where we want to have the best osseointegration, the body starts with a cleaning up process, taking away some bone to get rid of all the contaminants you see in these images. And we always talk about micron-sized particles. When I gave a lecture in Cape Town, the first row was Thomas Albertson sitting, and I had a lot of negotiation with him and discussion, and he invented the foreign body equilibrium theory, that any patient has his personal, individual equilibrium of a foreign body load. So some patients can smoke 100 cigarettes a day and they get 90 years old. Another patient will get cancer after a few cigarettes. The same with patients. So following Thomas Albertson's theory, a distortion of the foreign body equilibrium may be the main cause of peri-implantitis and a loss of bone. So all these images you could see here now in this very short lecture are just the tip of the iceberg. On the other hand, we have many companies that really take care for the quality, but still we have an increasing numbers of companies coming into the European market, coming to the Asian market with very low cost. And the problem is, for a specific quality, you need some efforts, and efforts are cost effective to finally deliver a clean implant. Why are these impurities a matter of concern? Because I told you already, if I found one implant with a contamination in a group of 120 implants, finally we analyzed now more than 150 implants in the market. That could be unfortunate, but maybe we found 2 implants from 120. That could be a coincidence. But I would say it looks like a pattern if more than 10 implants in the cohort of 120 showed severe contaminants. Following Thomas Albertson is like a mantra for me working. We have to know, all dentists have to know, not believe that an implant is without harm to our patients. I have to talk about now the Clean Implant Foundation. I'm very grateful for the short introduction. I didn't expect to see my own video here, but actually I said it all. The Clean Implant Foundation was founded last year, and it is a non-profit organization. We are completely independent. It's a non-biased research initiated by dentists, and last but not least, it's led and always advised by a renowned scientific advisory board. And you may see again some well-known colleagues like Thomas Albertson, his wife Anne Vanderberg, even Michael Norton, the president of the AO, the dean of my department in the Charité University in Berlin, where I work as a guest researcher, and my friend Professor Muhi sitting in front in the first row. Thank you for coming and joining this, and my dear friend Luigi Canola from Italy. So all these people give us a pathway, what to do, where to go into research, and what to look for on the dental implant. The Clean Implant project will promote the highest quality of dental implants. We coordinate research about the consequences. Colleagues from the US always told me, well, actually nobody is dying from this avoidable pollution. But if you find the smoking gun that a specific load of foreign bodies may lead to an early implant loss or a loss of bone, then it would be good to know. We will publish worldwide the data on all this research, and for sure we will raise the awareness that not always colleagues going to an exhibition, and I saw this 100 times, asking for the lowest price, not asking for the quality of the implant, ask for a low price. I don't think it's a good idea. We established now a global quality mark for the dental implant community that is not in competition to an FDA clearance or an CE label or an SFDA, KFDA, you name it. This simple single logo will show you that you can trust a company. Why I'm so sure? Because we do a lot of research on the implants, and we actually have a 5-step approach, very important. We have the sampling. Before you receive the award of the trusted quality level, we need 5 implants from the same type, 3 from the factory and 2 from you, my dear colleagues. So I have always a mixture of real implants from the market, not specially preparated. We will unpack these implants and scan, with the scanning electron microscope, these implants even under clean room conditions. So there's no chance in the 20 seconds from unpacking and bringing it into the microscope to have some contaminants on the implant. And now we have running the process for an ISO 17025 accreditation. It's a lot of work. We have external audits, so there's no chance, even if I want to, no chance to have a specific good result because I love the company. It's always neutral, super non-biased, and there's no way that I can manipulate the data. Most important, we get this full-size scanning electron microscope image. It's electronically composed of 360 single images. You will see some examples a few minutes later. And in the end, after the report is generated from 5 implants, that is more than a week of workload, these reports will go to a peer review committee from the scientific advisory board, like Professor Muhi from Morocco signed, is one of the guys who has to sign this documentation. And then, and only then, if the company in addition gives proof that this implant has more than 95% of survival rate in 3 years, then these companies will receive the implants. You have always the choice, wherever you go, You can ask for a very cheap implant. This is an implant from the United States. And you see all the contaminants on the outer ridges of the screw. And for sure, this will have an effect in the bone of our patients. Or you choose this one, collected from 360 single SEM images. And this is the name of this implant, for good reason. So we are very proud that the Clean Window Foundation is able to give one of the first awards for the Trusted Quality 2017-18 to the company MegaGen. Some fast images here, you see how nicely and rough and equal the surface is. You can't find any particle that is in comparison to those particles I showed you on the other images. So what you see is what you get, and when you buy an implant, it's not an integrated problem situation, it's not an integrated loss of bone. Well, that's about it. If you want to have more information, I would be glad if you visit our website. It's a huge story, and I think it's a specific topic every dentist should actually care about, because patients trust in us or the decision of the implant we are using. So you should trust the company. Thank you, Dr. Park.
Thank you very much.
We will have the ceremony for the handover in the end of the Congress. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Can I have? Yes, I really appreciate their activity as a policeman in the implant business. Yes. And yes, I believe so manufacturing contaminated implants is like a crime to the dentist, to the patients, to the business. So when I was informed for this kind of Green Implant Foundation at the first time, I was a little bit afraid. Oh my God, if there is something wrong from our implant surface, what I can say? Yes, but we daily challenged with the Enrich implant system first. So as you saw from Dr. Duda's presentation, it was very satisfactory. I'm very proud of, as a clinician, as a businessman. Now, we have very famous doctors and businessmen in Germany. We had a meeting there. So I'm very proud to be one of the early stage adapter on the Green Implant Foundations. With their activity, I really believe the quality of implant pictures will increase and more and worldwide. I really appreciate it for the activity. Okay, let's go to the digital platforms, which is very important for the one-day implant. Okay. Digital platforms for diagnosis and planning, and the digital platform for CAD/CAMs to make manufacturers. In 2011, not actually, it's late 2010, so Eureka R2 team was made in Korea, and we aimed to make a digital diagnostic tools and the minimally invasive, speedy implant therapy, and we aimed to make a customized bone block for GBL with the 3D printings, something like this. And we developed more and more during the last 5 years. So it took almost 1.5 years to finish the first version of ArtGate. And we made a hybrid 3D digital images. Nowadays, the hybrid image merging CBCT to STL is very common. Everybody knows this is the basic technology. But in 2010, nobody used these techniques. Hybrid was very new at the time. We made as the first inventors. And then STLization was another concept. No company, I realized some companies tried to develop this technology almost at the same time with us. But anyway, we made STLization techniques. We can draw the STL file from the software, from crowd. We can make real products. So STLization, we made this term as the first time. And then again, we made the digital eye platforms to recognize the bone density more detailed. So according to the bone densities shown and, from the digital eye, so we can find that the more precise way of such implant placement. And again, for the communication, we developed the AltoGate Write, which is available on the iPad or mobile version. This was also the first one in the world. Still, only 2 companies has this. Ours were much better, I can say. And we tried many, many cases. In these two years, so we delivered 11,000 cases worldwide. And as far as we know, more than 22,000 implants were placed with our techniques, AltoGate, surgical stent, and one-day implants. Was very successful. So finally, we decide, and also, we tried to measure the error factors from our AltoGate. And this is the article written by our Romanian professor. And he measured a little bit differently about the mean angular deviations. It was 2.34 plus minus 0.85 deviations. And it was almost same with other reports. It's all kind of guided surgery has about a 2-degree deviations. Okay, this is acceptable. And this is another important article written by the professors of Seoul University, Seoul University Dental School. So Dr. Jiman Park, Professor Jiman Park published this. They compared 6 different guided surgeries and concluded that the AltoGate is the most accurate system. It's not only because of software. Software is almost similar nowadays, but the way of manufacturing the surgical stent is a bit different. Drill is important, again, but more accurate with AltoGate systems. So we decide, with this confidence, with these studies, we confidently decided to open AltoGate system to other implant systems. Already we made the libraries of Nobel, Straumann, Zimmer, 3i, Biomed, and all kind of Korean implants. Library was finished and merged one by one to the loaded on the AltoGate. And you can use any kind of implant system on the platform of AltoGate system from next year, from end of next month. Now, and again, many doctors want to make surgical stent by themselves to shorten the period, to minimize the expenses. So we open the Alto Digital Center to anybody. Even you, as a dentist, you can open your own Alto Digital Center in your clinic, or our lab technicians, or you can recommend it to your lab technicians. Then you can do guided surgery next day or in the afternoon if patients come in the morning with very limited amount of equipments. This is now, not the future. And on top of this, Dr. Jung Chul Kim and his team really worked hard to develop something new. So almost finished to develop the face guide, which is very good for the planning and the guided surgery for the facial deformities. It's really good, very accurate so far. And we are going to make the statistics now. Will be available from next year. And also, Dr. Jung Chul Kim will present tomorrow about the DOD, Digital Oral Design concept. You can make the patient smile before start treatments with this DOD systems. So with this kind of available, useful softwares and through the AltoGate, you can see the patient's future, the patient result before even people touching the patients. What will be next in dentistry? What do you think? What we have to think about the future? I believe laser will replace the rotary instrument in the near future. Laser technology is developing more and more, so no need, if laser technology can be used in a day place, not only to make a preparation, not only to make the period treatments, to make holes and the preparation of bone, then all procedure of the implant treatments will be changed completely. I believe in these techniques, but I don't know what it will be. And VL and AL will replace the mechanical, the guided surgery techniques. There's no need to print out the 3D, the guided surgical stent. So you see, I downloaded this film from Facebook, really good, but it's still the technology is here. We have. MegaGen is also developing the MegaGrass, which is available with AutoGate. No, without printing the surgical guide, you can see the patient mouth like this. Will be soon, I hope.